Okay, after a really disappointing finish in our last traditional draft for Throne of Eldraine, going 0-2 and essentially, paying 1,500 gems for one pack, we have got enough gold that we can enter another ranked draft. So we're back on our bullshit, and we're gonna fire that off. Maybe if we do quite well in this, we'll fire off another traditional draft. I know I have 8,800 gems, so I have quite a buffer before I, miss out on the mastery pass. But I like to, I'm just one of those gamers who likes to hoard resources and won't use something unless they have absolutely, 10 times as much as they need for these precious resources. Okay. Got a few interesting cards here. It's quite strong cards. Again, we're back in best of one, so rare drafting is kind of something I'm interested in, which I only mention because Fabled Passage here is probably the pick for us. I want this for my collection. It lets us put off getting into a color, and it also allows us to fix, which can be nice. Epic Downfall is the strongest card in the pack, of course. Like, it's just an excellent removal spell. But, we're in best of one right now. Stakes are lower for the purposes of, like, going optimally, We're going to take the Fabled Passage here. Okay. And again, some pretty good cards. We have two good removal spells here. We have Red Cap Melee, and we have Charmed Sleep. The best card behind them is probably Ardenvale Tactician. But I think right now it's between Red Cap Melee and Charmed Sleep. I personally like playing blue better than I like playing red. So given that these two are very close, I think I'm going to take the Charmed Sleep here. Okay. So we have a lot of decent commons in this pack. We have some good uncommon. The Maraleaf Pixie is a fine playable. We have Lonesome Unicorn's good, Secretkeepers good, Forever Young is good, Merchant of the Veil good, Rosethorn Acolyte good. We got a lot of good cards. I'm currently drawn towards the Secretkeeper because we have one blue card already. Maraleaf Pixie, of course, we could play it just as well, but given it's fairly early on and I don't know if I'm going to play green, whereas right now it seems more likely I'll play the Secretkeeper, I think that's the pick here. Although the Maraleaf Pixie is obviously like a stronger card. But the other thing is the Merfolk Secretkeeper gets better in multiples, so picking one early also then primes us to take others if we see them. So I think we'll take that here. I got a few good cards. A pick for Outmuscle might be something to meditate on. I think it's probably the best card in the pack. Venerable Knight is good if you're at Knights. I mean, a 1-mana 2/1 is fine, but I'm not super excited about playing it. Outmuscle, quite good. I guess we'd be better off if we took the Maraleaf last pack, but no way to know. So, but Outmuscle definitely strongest card in the pack. Yeah. Okay, we got a few decent blue commons. Thrill of Possibility, that's fairly late. I think the bots consider that a signal. Thrill of Possibility is an okay card. But I think we're going to take blue cards here. And I think the blue card we're going to take is Queen of Ice. We have one card that's energized with Moonlit Scavenger, but this card goes quite late. And also, since we only have one thing that triggers it, I'm not super excited to play it yet. So I think we'll take Queen of Ice here. It's just a fine playable. Okay, well, oh my gosh, that's a really late Reef Soul. That's, It's a late Merchant of the Veil too, and a pretty late So Tiny. That's interesting. Well, Reef Soul is very good. It's probably better than So Tiny. We haven't committed to blue yet. Or we are pretty committed to blue. We're not super committed to green necessarily. That being said, I think the So Tiny might be better for us because we're mostly in blue. And we currently have one mill card at least. And I think that we want to stay flexible here, which gives this a slight edge over the Reef Soul. Obviously, Reef Soul is more powerful, but I think we want to value that flexibility against the bots, who can sometimes be a little confusing. And we'll take the Brownstorm Acolyte here. Again, we have Outmuscle, so getting into green isn't the worst thing in the world. Runaway Together, great synergy with Merfolk Secretkeeper, of course. Sorcerer's Broom is an awesome build around, but the Reef Soul, I guess, maybe a signal that black is open, but I have just better blue cards right now. So I think we'll take the Runaway Together. Well, no, I think the Runaway Together is better than speculating on the Sorcerer's Broom right now. And there's another Merfolk Secretkeeper, looking really good for our ability to kind of play a mill strategy. I might take the Gingerbread Cabin here, because if we are playing green as our second color, getting a food is pretty good, especially if we're like a slower deck and we just, 3 health might help us against an aggro strategy. Considering Giant Skewer, because maybe black is open, but I'm pretty happy taking this here, I think. River Turtle, I don't know if it makes the final cut, but if we are in green, green has a lot of non-humans, so it's possible that this actually might be useful in our deck. These cards don't do anything for us. Wildwood Tracker might not make the final cut, nor Corridor Monitor. Oh. Well, we're in blue. Brazen Borrow is really nice. It's a nice bounce spell, and then a nice body, and the body has flash, which is great. If this wasn't here, I would probably take the third Secretkeeper, but I think this is better enough. And also, again, best of one, willing to rare and mythic draft, so I'll take the Brazen Borrower here. And it's just nice that it works on our deck, so I don't have to feel too bad about my quote-unquote greed here. Triple green is pretty greedy. It really cares about green a lot, but the thing is, there's almost nothing else for us in this pack. So potentially if we get a lot more green cards in this pack, it might become more playable, but honestly there's nothing here that I want to take over it, and the fact that it's a rare is noteworthy, I suppose. Okay, well this will be a pretty easy Sire Eleonora, the Discerning. Still don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I think WotC went out of their way to make it a gender-neutral spelling of Sir, and obviously it's not just men on the card art, so I'm just opting for this gender-neutral pronunciation. Wow, that's a late Witch Stalker. Do I like Occam Adversary more than I like Witch Stalker? That's a good question. Occam Adversary is easier to cast than Fierce Witch Stalker, especially if we tend towards more heavier blue deck. Actually, I don't think Wildwood Tracker makes it in that deck. I think considering our deck is currently, I doubt we're going to play Yorvo. We'll keep him there for now, just so I remember. But considering we don't have food synergies to make the food extra great on Witch Stalker, and we're also looking to be not super heavy green, I think the Occam Adversary beats out the Witch Stalker in this toss-up, so we'll take it here. Nice. Once in Future I really like. There's not a lot of other cards in the pack I'm that interested in. Garenbreed Carver's pretty okay. We're not really a super heavy creature deck, but we have a number of creatures, but I don't know if we're going to be a deck that's really relying on combat tricks as much. And Once in Future is just great for grinding out the game, and if we pick up one more Secretkeeper and another Runaway Together, we might be winning by grinding our opponent's decks out, so I think I'll take Once in Future here. And speaking of, a third Merfolk Secretkeeper, this is pretty late. I mean, I think blue is the open lane, but still a bit surprised. So I guess the bots haven't actually been fixed quite well enough regarding the Merfolk Secretkeeper, which is kind of unfortunate because, you know, want them to reflect reality as much as possible, but what are you going to do? Okay, let's look at the Moonlit Scavengers now. We have one, potentially play the Corridor Monitor if we don't have a lot of good 2-drops to kind of curb aggression. So we'll just say 1, 2, 3, 3. Is 3 enough? 3 might be enough. If we're obviously going to pick up any more So Tinies we see as well. A Charm Sleep obviously would pick up another one. Witching Wells we would take if you know the whatever called for it. We're in a longer game deck. Like we want to ramp out and stuff. I think that taking the Moonlit Scavenger here is not too bad. I think maybe better than the second Queen of Ice, though I'm not totally sure. I've liked this card a lot, and it's done quite well for me. So I mean, like, you know, not that we'll play Mistford River Turtle because of it, but I mean, it's a good Mistford River Turtle friend, because, you know, 4 damage unblockable is pretty decent. So I think we'll take it here. And there's the other So Tiny. Another So Tiny, we're liking that. The 4th Merfolk Secretkeeper, pretty strong. Definitely looking like we might mill people with this deck. I don't think we'll play the second Mistford River Turtle, even if we play the first. Now we might play the 2 Unveiled Treefolk main board. It's, you know, the Adventure makes this card really good. This 6 mana 6/5 isn't that good, but being able to on 4 put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature is quite nice. I mean, it can make a Merfolk Secretkeeper just almost impossible to get past on the ground. Didn't say please. Fine with a mill strategy. In green-blue, you're kind of low on removal, so counter kind of fills that space. Alright. I'm not all that excited by Ardenvale, or Castle Ardenvale. I don't think I play that many decks in Constructed that want it. Maraleaf Pixie is something I like a lot. Enchanted Carriage is still good. I am somewhat impressed by that card. But do I want... Let me see my curve. I think my curve might determine this a little bit. Yeah, we have a very few like early drops. Granted, we have 4 Merfolk Secretkeepers. But I do also want to like ramp into those bigger cards, and also the fixing, because it still looks like we're going to be... Yeah, like I don't think we're playing this. So it looks like we have a couple Adamant. You know, they have Once in Future and Outmuscle that want Adamant green in a deck that's not going to be very green. So I think in our current situation, being this set up in a color, like the colorless factor isn't that important to us, and I think that having access to more green mana and just like a really good card is quite important, so we'll take it here. Probably take another Runaway Together. Again, works amazing with Merfolk Secretkeeper. It's just such a beating, and the second copy is good. You don't want to get a billion of these because, you know, it's somewhat inefficient. Although in our deck it's better than a lot, but definitely going to take the second one here. Oh my gosh. Wow, a lot of good cards. Well, a couple good cards, I guess. Beanstalk Giant's amazing. Keeper of Fables is really good. Tome Raider is fine, but not as good as either of those two. Dang, this is a tough pick between the Giant and the Keeper of Fables. Keeper of Fables is double green in a deck that I keep mentioning is probably going to be... I mean, at this point, because we have the Maraleaf, it might not be too hard to get double green on turn 5, and our land base might be starting to skew a little bit that direction anyways, but... Granted that we want to be able to, you know, Adamant both our Once in Future and our Outmuscle, I think I'm going to give an edge to Beanstalk here. The ramp is nice in our deck as well. You know, just... Keeper of Fables is really good, though. Oh, man. And we're in a deck that has a lot of cards that would trigger really easily, you know. Flyer that triggers it. This can tap stuff down to trigger it. This combos with it really well. You know, this is... got some quasi-evasion. Oh, this is a really tough pick. Do have a fair amount of action on turn 3, though not a like ton. What a tough pick. I think both are good enough that you're not like making a catastrophic mistake if you take one here. We have a lot of double pip blue, which makes me think we're going to lean a little heavier on a blue mana base, which might make the Beanstalk Giant better. Ugh, such a tough call. I think considering that our deck is looking to, it has a lot of like, Merfolk Secretkeepers is going to be a big way that we win. Despite the fact that we have like 2 cards and possibly a 3rd card that really synergize with the Keeper, I think Beanstalk Giant might be more what we're looking for. Just being able to play our spells to make sure that we survive. It's pretty big. We don't have a ton of card draw, which is kind of unfortunate. We also have the Fabled Passage for making our green better. Don't think this is going to make the cut. Oh. Sorry, I'm having such a dilemma right now. This is possibly one of the hardest picks I've had to make in a long time. I think it might be the Keeper. We have some good cards that synergize with it. Well, we have 2 good cards that synergize with it. No, I think it's probably the Giant. We have a few like heavier cards than we want to be able to adamant the 2 4-drop adamants we have. We don't want to get stuck both either not being able to play a double blue card if we need to, or playing an adamant green card. So I think that while Keeper might have a stronger effect on the game, we aren't crazy able to trigger it. Because again, Mist for River Turtle isn't necessarily going to make our main board. It's very cuttable. It's in fact might be one of the first cuts we make. The Giant we will always be happy with, even if Keeper of Fables can't always trigger, can't super easily trigger in our deck. As right now, we don't have like a bunch of Tome Raiders, and we have so we only have 2 flyers, Quasi Evasion and Okame Adversary. But probably if I slam down Keeper and then Okame Adversary will be drawing 2 cards on damage, they'll probably be willing to trade with it. So I think it's going to be Beanstalk Giant, but I think that both cards are very good, and that was a tough pick. Hypnotic Sprite here. It's nice to be able to counter like whatever their first 3-drop is, and then later get a flying creature. If we had this before the Keeper, maybe we would have taken the Keeper, but we don't know that as we're making picks. So, wow, that's a pretty late Sire Allen. Is wide open. Should I pivot? Obviously Tome Raider. Good card. Flies to some cheesy stuff. Frozen Acolyte here helps us fix for those adamant cards, helps us fix for those double pip cards. In blue, if something crazy were to happen and I only drew green mana in one's island, you know, just a good card. I think we take the third So Tiny over the fifth Merfolk Secretkeeper, considering we have outside the Merfolk Secretkeeper, we can bounce it twice with Runaway together. We have one Didn't Say Please. So I think we have enough mill that we don't need to have the fifth one over the third So Tiny, which is just excellent removal that will help keep us alive against an aggressive matchup. So I think this is the correct call here. Obviously, if it wasn't in the pack, it'd be an easy Merfolk Secretkeeper. I don't think we'll main board or Return to Nature. Our card quality is really high, but maybe. Probably none of these. Gingerroot. It's probably not going to be Mantle of Tides. Don't have a lot of card draw. Curious Pair, maybe. We have a lot of high quality cards. I don't think it's good enough to make our deck right now. Okay. Oh. Didn't do too bad. Felt like we did quite well this draft. So we need to make 4 cuts. Like I said, I think the Mistford River Turtle is an easy cut. We're probably not going to be a super aggressive deck. It has good synergy with like Moonlit Scavenger, Treefolk, and Beanstalk to just like close a game. But we also have Merfolk Secretkeeper to close a game, and there's a lot of instances where like this could attack and then die, so that you did, you kind of recklessly ran a 1/5 into its death to get like 9 damage through with the Beanstalk Giant, when in reality, if I have the Beanstalk Giant or even the Treefolk out, a lot of the time I'll just be happy to like slam into them and they'll probably mostly chump block, right? So the Mistford River Turtle is fine, but not like the way our deck's gonna win. Gotta make 3 more cuts. I don't like that. Well, I think we're going to probably do 1 less forest than island. So we got 9, 7, and then the Fabled Passage to help us get either, which is nice. I think Corridor Monitor is kind of superfluous. I mean, like, I'm happy on turn 2, just replaying playing the creature half of the Merfolk Secretkeeper and calling that good, even if it's wasteful of a mana. And we have 3 So Tinies and a Charmed Sleep. So I'm not super worried about triggering Moonlit Scavenger necessarily. 2 more cuts. 2 more cuts. Queen of Ice? Queen of Ice is fine. I really like the Treefolk, but maybe it's cuttable. Queen of Ice is kind of good for curbing aggression a little bit. Obviously, we're not an aggro deck, so we're not using this aggressively to like tap something and then swing past it. And with 4 Secret Keepers, I think we're pretty good on curbing aggression without having to use Rage of Winter, or the just body in general. We also have other 2/3s to kind of block. We have bounce spells. We have a fair bit of more impressive removal, or we have actual removal. So tempo isn't a huge thing. 1 more cut. Probably be irresponsible to cut a land with this deck, right? Let's move this here. I really like all the cards in our deck. Like, I don't know what I don't know what I would get rid of. It might be a top-end card, I suppose. But I like both of our 6-drops. We do have a ton of... Okay, I think I'm going to consider going to 16. And the reason for that is we have seven 1-drops. You know, we have 4 2-drops. We have a lot of 3-drops. And at the 3-drop slot, we have land ramp, you know, mana dork. I don't feel we have one card draw. We have mana ramp here. I don't feel like we'll get super punished for having 16 lands, especially in the best of 1, where, to my knowledge, the hand smoother helps kind of keep you from flooding out, or not flooding out, having like mana screw. There you are, my sweet. I keep thinking it's a scroll, but it's not. I just click through. Yeah, and our whoopsies. Again, like, all we need to do is, in our deck, like, we just need to, you know, we Beanstalk Giant. We don't feel bad about having 16 lands. We have 1, 2, we have 3 dorks. We have a lot of kind of like things that can slow down a game. So if we're against an aggressive deck and we maybe miss a land drop or 2, we probably won't get run over. I think despite having, like, you know, a 7-drop in Beanstalk Giant and like 2 6-drops and, you know, 5-drop, I don't think we're in a deck where we need to play 17 lands. So we'll play a game and we'll see how it feels. It can be hard in best of 1 to know if that's the right call, because you know, get to play so few games if you scrub out. But I think, considering our curve, which, you know, look at our curve, it's pretty, you know, it's pretty crazy. We have a lot of early drops, you know, and we have adventure cards that do stuff, you know, on turn 3 and 4. Like the Toon Veil Tree Folks is a 6-drop, but yeah, but we can do something with it on turn 4 as well, so it's kind of, in a sense, a 4-drop. So I don't think we're going to be super punished for cutting that land there. Yeah, Yorvo, sorry friend, I don't think we have enough green creatures, and not enough green mana to justify you, although you are obviously an excellent card if we were playing heavier green. Alright, well, that's it. We'll see how this deck plays later. Right now I gotta go study for a midterm that I'm putting off, so hopefully that goes well, and then I can justify playing some Magic later on. Alright, bye.